antics going down in the background while the promo intro's playing and everything. It's ridiculous. We don't know how to act, y'all. We don't know how to
Hey, y'all. I'm like, what do I want to do today?
Welcome to a new episode of The Coach and the Disconnector. And she is Carrie Crosby, the coach. I am Brandy, the disconnector. And we are the coach and the disconnector. I finally put it the right way, y'all, the first time around.
I had to think about it. I had thought.
So, guys, as you're jumping on here, joining us this fine evening, be sure to share, like, follow the page. It's the Coach and the Disconnector. You can put the @ sign in front of it. You can go www.thecoachandthedisconnector.com. It'll take you to our show page. We're building up our audience. We want to love on y'all, but in order to love on y'all, we need y'all.
Come on in. The water's fine.
Yes. So what we want to know right now is, how is everybody doing? How is your week going? Even if it's a crappy week, drop that in the comments. We want to know. We can talk
My week is up.
Man, I ain't even gonna go from my last Friday. Oh my gosh, that was such a rough day. Last Friday.
What happened?
I just could not get my life together that day. Like, I had like a full-on meltdown, y'all. I was not happy about life that day.
Can't get right.
Right, but I'm over it now. I let it all out. I figured out some pieces and put them in the right places, and now I got a lesson for y'all for today's segment, which we'll get to in probably about 15 minutes or so. But in the meantime, Coach Carrie, how you feeling, man?
I'm feeling peachy keen. How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm happy-go-lucky as I can be. You know how that goes, man. That's girl. I mean, I'm gonna need you to finish that joint very soon, man. We got that piece coming out soon. That track.
Oh yeah.
Y'all. Coach Carrie over here slipping, man. Tell her, submit your verse. We got something big in the works. We need
my bad, y'all. I'm the anticipation bringer. You know, I'm bringing them bars from somewhere.
So, you guys, today's topic is show me, man. We all got those people in our lives that are always talking about what they gonna do, what they gonna do. And if you are the person that's always talking about what you gonna do, well, we was them people at one point in time too. So we about to share some of the steps that we took to get the hell out of our own ways and level up in ways we never thought possible. Because somebody on this here show done messed around and officially became a nonprofit 501c3. Now, if you don't know what a 501c3 is, look that joint up. They ain't easy to get, and you know when you get them, you on the right path to put that foot on greatness's neck like you want to. Let's go.
Oh yeah, it's going. What's going on, Modest Lorenzo? Shout out God in the house.
He said, just tune in. Yeah, Carrie, bring them bars.
I'm gonna bring them. I don't care if I gotta go to Costco to get them. I'm gonna get them bars. I'm gonna get them. I promise.
All right, Coach Carrie. So you already know we've both had quite a few things that we spent more time talking about than actually getting accomplished. Now, we've achieved a lot since we've known each other. But what's one of those things that you spend a lot of time talking about before you finally say, you know what, let me stop playing and get to work?
Ooh, you know what? This is a subject that touches real close to home. Today, I was just sharing, because a lot of people didn't know that I used to be a smoker. And I was a smoker. I started smoking when I was 18, when I was in college. And it is by far the hardest thing, not just in my opinion, but a lot of people who have been smokers themselves. It's so hard to quit. And I would go back and forth, smoking, not smoking, vape, smoking vape, not smoking vape, smoking vape. And today I threw away my vape. And it was like this moment of just resolve, because I was on my break and I was sitting in my car and I was, going to vape, and I decided not to. And literally on my way in back into the store. My food that I had, I threw it in the bag, and I threw it in the garbage, and I kept walking. And it was just like, it was like a scene from a movie for me. You know what I mean? Because it was just this declaration that I made. And I'm not gonna lie, I've done that before, but for some reason it just felt different this time. And there's levels to everything, because I would kind of intertwine a lot of how I was quitting versus not really quitting. But the same thing happened on my way home, because I was craving. And anybody who knows me know I love symphony bars. The one with the heat and the almond in it.
Those are the best ones.
Oh my God, they're so good. And on the way home, I literally went, because I know one place that always has them, and that's Walgreens. I pulled up to Walgreens.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
I went in the parking lot. I did a 360. I went back out, and I came home. And I was like, I am sick and tired. And because this ties into what I've been talking about for a long time that I want to do, I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I know the vape ain't helping, sugar ain't helping, dairy ain't helping. A lot of the things that I do, it's just not helping. And, we say we're going to do things in moderation, but if you can't do it in moderation, you have got to be honest with yourself not to do it at all until you have the self-control and have separated yourself from the addictive aspect of it to where you can bring it back in moderation. Because a lot of us is fooling ourselves thinking we can do things in moderation that we're addicted to. We got to break the addiction first and reintroduce things back into our lives. It's like dairy and sweets and things of that nature. So, yeah.
Right. Wow.
Your turn.
That wasn't even the direction I was expecting to go, but how we flow with it. If that's the direction we go, that's where we go.
That's how we do.
And it's
because it's the same muscle.
Because I still smoke occasionally, but I'm not a 100% of the time smoker. If I'm smoking, it's typically, honestly, it's just because I want to. Most of the time, I'm like, nah, I don't feel like it. But like that 3-4 times a year now, yeah, I probably will. But I'm okay with that because I know I'm not addicted to it. Now, when it's the same with alcohol, right? With alcohol, and I'm not smoking now because y'all already know I'm trying to start my family, so that ain't going down. But it's not to say it's out of the question for me because I know I have a handle on it. But it's like with alcohol. I know that in my family, alcohol can be a problem. That's why I actually learned this from Darren Hardy. He wrote the book. I want to say it's called The Entrepreneur Roller Coaster. And he's written a couple other books too. But this particular book, he said, in order to check whether or not something that you do is a vice, give it up for 30 days. If you're able to give it up for 30 days comfortably, it doesn't have control of you. You have control of it.
Right.
When I learned that, I started looking at different things in life, whether it's the smoking, when I drink, what I eat, because I'm moving away from fried foods altogether, and I'm starting to push pork out of my diet. That's it, the compound effect. That's what it is. Thank you. Thank you.
That's Keisha. What's up, Keisha?
Herbs. It really helps with chronic pain, amongst other things for me. Anxiety, depression, all that. And honestly, I don't find anything wrong with that because I'm from Colorado, the first state that legalized it. And if you ain't never been to Colorado, take your butt out there if you about them trees, because you gonna find some of the most fantastic stuff you've ever experienced in life. And I don't even smoke like that at all, actually. But the funny thing is, I can smell it and tell what's the good stuff and what ain't. But I don't like being high.
For real.
But that's just my preference though. But I got lots of family members, friends, acquaintances, associates that enjoy weed, and I see no problem with it, especially if you don't need to live life without being high. That's when you want to take a couple looks at it.
And just to clarify, I was speaking about tobacco and nicotine, not vapes, because I'm to be completely honest, I am a advocate of marijuana being legal. However, I honestly think cigarettes should be illegal. I really think cigarettes should be illegal. Just
I
because,
think
like,
society is slowly
it's
phasing
ridiculous.
tobacco use out altogether, whether it's dip, whether it's smoking cigarettes, whether it's well, they probably will never phase out cigars because that's like a distinguished gentleman thing in some circles.
Yeah, no, they, you know why they won't get rid of cigars, but we ain't gonna go there in today's episode anyway. Is but I will say this about cigarettes, they ain't gonna get rid. I don't think they would get rid of cigarettes either, especially coming out of this pandemic. We got new addicts now. It's people who probably used to smoke one or two a week that's probably smoking a pack. I've known people who told me, I think it was at work. I don't remember what it was, but I also know a family member of mine who started smoking after she was pregnant because she was so stressed. Because you know, most people who say they smoke, it's like a stress reliever for anxiety, whatever. But
Right.
I guarantee you, we have a lot more addicts now coming out of this pandemic than we had before we went back in, and
Oh,
they ain't
most
about to stop
definitely. And
selling
that's
it. And
addicts of everything, though.
going
That's
up.
addicts of tobacco, alcohol,
Uh-huh.
pain medications.
Yep,
And the
yep.
people that can't get a hold of pain medication shift to things like heroin and meth. It's a
Yeah,
mess, man. It's a mess. It's a hot goddamn mess.
yeah,
But luckily, we have, shows like this. It shows how to work through these things and not to beat yourself up. If
absolutely.
you are currently an addict of any sort, there is no judgment to be had here because all of us have our things that we got to deal with and grow through. And that's also
Mhm.
part of what this show is about this evening is learning when it's time to shift into a different level of things in order to have access to a new level of things. A
Right.
lot of us are beating on the door of stuff that we want, but we're not yet in a place to be ready for it. What does that mean? Okay, think about it.
Mhm.
17-year-old kid messes around to get a multi-million-dollar contract of some sort, whether it's based on business, sports, whatever it might be. How many 17-year-olds you know ain't gonna lose their entire effing mind if they get that kind of money, let alone most adults, right?
I was gonna
All of us
say,
say we want to be millionaires, but none of us prepared to mentally be millionaires. Just
right,
because you got multiple millions of dollars doesn't make you a millionaire. And that's
right.
something that we were never taught growing up in school, and the majority of our families didn't have a whole lot of money to speak of. So we were never taught how to handle large quantities of money responsibly and in a way that would allow us to have a positive impact, not only on our family, but on our communities, on the political situations we find going on around us. There's so much to be done with the
Yeah.
right knowledge, know-how, and the right funds.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. What? So let me ask you this: like, what do you think is just a general? Because we all know, we very aware that our first step may not be your first step, but
Right.
coaching the disconnect is all about suggestions, so that you can kind of a la carte your way to your own success. But what would you say is a suggestion to if someone is like you said, what we started talking about, like we've been talking about this for so long and I need to get the ball rolling. What would you say would be one of your suggestions for them? Just starting some momentum.
All right. The very first thing to start momentum, honestly, is admit that you're just talking yourself up and you ain't doing nothing yet.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us get so used to talking about it and seeing it in our minds and dreaming about it that we think that that's actually taking action.
Right.
And I was guilty of that myself. I said when I was younger, I'm gonna be a multimillionaire. But I didn't start taking the actual steps to become a multimillionaire for seriously until about 2-3 years ago. And when
Right.
I hit that level of things, y'all ain't gonna know because I keep myself to myself.
Right.
But
Ain't nothing
you have
wrong
to
with
stop,
that.
stop
Ain't nothing
talking
wrong
about
at
it,
all.
start doing it. If you know that you want to achieve something, but everyone around you is doing the exact same thing as you and nobody's getting anywhere, first thing is look at your circle and start changing it. If you don't
Yeah.
know how to start changing your circle, change your vibration.
Right.
Now, this is something that we're going to have Brother Ray Mail on for because
Mm-hmm.
he's an energy shifter.
Mm-hmm.
He's the vibrations guy. But
Mm-hmm.
when you change your vibration by what you're taking in. what you're watching on television, what music you're listening to. If you don't like reading books, at least listen to books. There are so many books out here that you can listen to that will help you slowly but surely shift your mindset. That's what I did. Books are the
Yeah.
reason how I shifted my mindset because I was
Yes.
at a job that I absolutely hated. I disliked at least 70% of my coworkers because they were lazy but being paid the same, if not more than me, to do a lot less work because work ethic is something that is as different as every single one of our personalities.
Yep.
And I didn't understand that for the longest time. And when I finally stopped letting it get to me and started looking at the bigger picture and stopped worrying about the little things going on around me, look
Mm-hmm.
at where I'm going to be in 3 years if I put my head down, focus on these books, focus on the steps I need to take.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it's at. Shift your vibration by shifting what you're taking in. Shift what you're taking in by, giving up entertainment for a little while. Because there are
Mm-hmm.
some things that we watch that, like, what's the purpose? You might
Right.
get a chuckle
Right.
out of it, but what's the productive purpose?
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna let everybody in on like the 4 steps of the dive program right quick,
Come on, man.
because I think that's always a good thing. And yes, I charge for it, but I also give the same thing away for free because I know what the value is behind it, and it's a duplicatable program. But I
Mm,
also know who's the best at it. Me. So the first thing that you do is you just dump out every single thing that you have surrounding everything. Pick a thing. So, like for instance, if you say weight loss, you're gonna dump everything about weight loss out on a piece of paper. If you're talking about graduating college, you're gonna dump everything that has to do about graduating college out on a piece of paper. If it's increasing your attunement with God, you're gonna dump everything about your spirituality out on a piece of paper, and you're
mm,
gonna look at it. And then I would not suggest no more than 3 categories, but you will start to see categories form, and then you'll be able to piece things together. Like if, for instance, you got around circled around spirituality. If you have I'm frustrated or I'm tired or this and that and the other, you may want to put that into your frustration column. If you say you need blessings or things like that, you may put that into a faith column. So
mm,
now you have two things that you're working with: your frustration level and your faith level. And then you see what is the relationship between those two things. If you
mm.
don't have enough faith, you always gonna be frustrated because a lot of times when we're in that space of being frustrated, it has to do with our faith because we're not following through because we don't believe it's gonna work, or we're not starting because we don't believe in ourselves. And a lot of times, one thing you touched on, and it's the same thing I'm about to say, just in different words, is sometimes we go in circles, and that's a falsification of movement. We really ain't going nowhere. We just circling and circling and circling. And we're another live I did a while back was how we till the ground too much. We want to
Right.
plant a seed and get too frustrated because it ain't growing. Then we want to till again. We want to go back to school. We want to get another certification. We want to talk to over and over and over again. I'm like, boo, there ain't not one more certification that is going to boost your self-confidence, though. You have got to start
Mm.
making mistakes and having wins in order to see what works for you. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck in that dump
It's
session. And
interesting
we'll go
that
through the
you,
other 3 in a minute.
but it is very interesting that you literally just use those words because I was thinking about it earlier. um, Critical thinking
Mm-hmm.
is something that most of us aren't taught.
Right.
And if you think about it, everybody usually asks when you don't know how the system works, when you don't know how economics works, when you don't know how corporations work.
Uh-huh.
Why do the guys at the top get paid so much money when they don't do anything? When the
Right.
right people are at the top of the company, they do the hardest work that most people won't bother with. It's
Make
think.
decisions
They
and make
make decisions,
decisions.
they implement decisions, they tweak decisions until stuff works. But
Right.
most of us aren't critical thinkers. We don't
Right.
create systems to optimize the situations and things that we have our hands on. We don't um, proactively set things up in a way that when we hit a snag, we can quickly work through it or over
Right.
it or around it or under it or whatever we choose to do.
Right.
We're not taught to think. And those of us that
Right.
learn how to think, we look crazy because when we see a problem way before it becomes a problem, because you can tell the trajectory of something just based on rational thinking. And that's why one of the biggest things that is extremely important when you finally decide to stop talking about it and start doing it is to
Right.
check your emotional intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is a very humbling experience, y'all. Because when I tell you, I was I was so convinced of my victimhood back in the day. You couldn't tell me that everybody wasn't picking on my ass. Shit.
Yep, yep.
But
We
in
all
many
get
cases,
stuck in
they
there
were.
from
But at the
time
end of
to
the day, it's
time.
because I was giving them a reaction in order to continue to do it. When I stopped reacting, I stopped being entertainment for them fools.
Right.
And now they're wondering, okay, what the hell happened? Because she used to work here with us, and now she doing shit like this.
It's about you made a decision. You became the CEO of yourself and your life and your future. And when you do that and you start making those tough decisions, can't nobody tell you nothing because you
Can't
know the
nobody
trial
tell
and error
you
and the road of
nothing.
which have gotten you exactly where you are. You know, a lot of people say, I found myself a place in my life I never thought I'd be. And I'm like, if you would have thought it all, you would have figured out you'd be here because every decision you made is what led you here. Now, there is unfortunate circumstances where other people make decisions on our behalf, but as soon as they do, you have a decision directly attached to that about how you feel, how you process it, how you move on, how you deal with it. You're not
Right.
you are only a victim for a moment. And that is the duration of the action that takes place. Outside of that moment, you are no longer a victim. You are a decision maker. You are a CEO. You are the boss. And whatever the actions you decide to take after that will lead you to the next place that you lay your head. The next place that your
Well,
mindset is simmering on. The next thing that happens is completely and utterly up to you.
and Tracy says your emotional state will have you messed up sometimes, and that is the absolute truth.
Right.
And with that small comment, I'm going to go ahead and break into this segment of mine. We're going to be talking about some more of the same, except for there are 7 specific keys that I identified during my journey that has helped me to, if I'm not already ready for the next level, quickly identify when the next level is here and get ready for it. So, quick break and right into the segment, y'all. We'll be back. Stop it, Carrie. What's up, everybody? So, this is Piece by Piece with the Disconnector. Ignore that extra stuff on the screen. I had a moment. But, anywho, today I'm going to talk about the 7 specific keys that I use in order to get the hell out of my own way and end up on levels of things that I can say it if I want to. I don't need to say it. But my plans, quite literally, are to hit my first million in the next 24 months. There, I've said it. I've put it out into the universe. Great, right? So the intention is there, but the question is, what am I going to do in order to achieve that? Well, I'm already doing a lot of those things. The first key that I discovered, and we already touched on it, personal development. Personal development can take on many forms. There's no one way to attack personal development. But however you do personal development, stick to it until you get to a point that you feel it's time to evolve or shift into other things. The second key is spiritual development. There are things that we go through in life that we don't realize have had a huge impact on us until we take the time to unpack things with the right people or just read the right books in order to learn to take the right steps to unpack things, look at them, and not put them back. Look at them, determine what it is that you need to do in order to either move through it, acknowledge it. Do you need to scream, shout, cry, and carry on and be done with it? Or are there people that you need to talk to and speak your piece and be okay with whatever or however that turns out? That spiritual development is important to getting things off of your mind in order to lift your spirit, in order to lift your vibrations. Your vibrations are extremely important. And there's a lot of us that are like, that's hoodoo, voodoo, whatever. And it can be. And if that's the approach that you take to it, you're going to find yourself stuck in certain cycles that you can't seem to break until you embrace the fact that you got to learn to think differently. And usually thinking differently involves shifting your spiritual awareness of things around you. So I've also touched on critical thinking. Why critical thinking? Because in order to achieve certain levels of things, you have to think things through. You got to create a plan and you got to follow that plan to a T. And you got to be able to identify when pieces of the plan don't fit the part of the procedure that you're in. And again, that's something that you'll learn as you go. Again, this is just the keys that I've learned on my journey. Emotional intelligence. Holy crap, y'all. When you learn to disarm your triggers and you realize that your emotional intelligence is so high, people can say and do things around you that one time would have set you the hell off, and now you're like, if I get mad about that, what else does it affect? Will I care about this in a week, 2 weeks, a month, a year? When the answer is no, you let things go so much faster and you don't allow yourself to get bent out of shape. Now, my emotional intelligence, I'm still working on. But when I tell you, compared to my emotional intelligence of 2014 to now, I'm like 90% different. There's that last 10 to 15% that I'm working on, but I'm actively working on it. So that was key number 4. Key number 5 is vision. For me, my vision doesn't depend on it. It's based on my family, the family that I want to build, because I have family on my mother's side and my father's side, and I love that family, but that family is, how do you say it? It's a supplement, okay? My supplement family is amazing. I love them. But the family that I build is going to be built a little bit differently, along the same lines of the same foundations, values, morals, ethics that I was taught, but elevated, optimized. We're going to take it to the next level in this household. So that vision is important because the vision that I have for my family is different from anything that I've seen in either side of my family to date, right? So it's like I'm building based on a vision that only I see, but I have developed the trust in myself that I know that whatever I encounter, we gonna make it through, no matter what it is. Expected, unexpected, man-made, nature-made, it doesn't matter. We gonna make it through. So that 6th one is gonna be strong mentors. The power of a strong mentor, I cannot possibly put right words on. I know that my mentors that I've been open to have come into my life at the perfect times that I needed them. And some of my mentors have been downright jackasses. I didn't know it at the time, but I needed to experience that in order to identify certain things, because I am somebody that if I don't learn how not to be, I will be taken advantage of quite easily. I'm a giver. I care on a very high level. I care about things that most people don't bother to care about and wonder why I care about it. But that's for me to know and me and God to figure out together along my path here. And your sixth thing is going to be constructive entertainment. What do I mean by constructive entertainment? Motivational videos on YouTube, movies with positive messaging to it. We have all seen the news lately. We know what's going on around the world right now. We know that people are passing away and having their lives taken from them due to things going on. But is that constructive? The only thing you should be looking at the news at to know is finance information, the what's going on that's of importance. It's good to browse over what's going on as far as the war, COVID, things like that, but don't sit there staring at it and watching the same cycle of news over and over and over, because your mind will have a freaking field day with that kind of stuff if you allow it to. Constructive entertainment can be good books. Even and y'all, this is my guilty pleasure. I love vampire series, okay? When I'm not every 3 times that I read a very good personal development based book, I will go and listen to one of my vampire series books. I'll be cracking up and laughing from a good, deep, healthy place. That's my guilty pleasure as far as that goes. So those are my 7 keys: personal development, spiritual development, critical thinking, emotional intelligence, vision, strong mentors, and constructive entertainment. And that, my dears, is what I have for you today for Piece by Piece with the Disconnector. I hope you guys enjoyed. If it made sense, drop me some hearts in the comments. And back to our regularly scheduled show. Hi, Cowboy. Welcome back. Why can't we hear you, Carrie? Oh, you're muted.
Oh, see, typically it automatically unmutes me. So I don't know what happened. But welcome back to me. That's what I said. Yes,
All
indeed.
right.
I like what you said about the disarming your own triggers, by the way. Someone posted something the other day and it said, it might have been Shadow God. I'm not sure, but someone posted, your triggers are your own responsibility.
Yep, that was the Brother King. Brother King. The journey of emotional intelligence requires a lot of introspection. A lot.
Yeah, I love
You
that.
ain't never lied.
Yes, it is. It's so true. So true.
Dang, I'm late. That's all right. You still made it in the building. That's all right.
I'm trying to see who that was. I can't see it though. But whoever it is, we're glad that you made it at all. And everybody else who has slid through here. I saw Tracy. I saw Internet Marie. I saw Sister Lady Queen I Am, Shamika. Who else did we see slide through here?
Lady Queen?
I know TJ was in the building.
Yes.
And Coach Toy slid through.
It's Miss Shelley.
Yes. Miss Shelley.
Hey, Freaky in the house.
So thank everybody for joining us, even if it's for a moment. Yeah, we understand sometimes you can't come, but we love it when you stop by.
Oh, most definitely. And guys, if you can't come for any reason, you can catch us here anytime at the coachofthedisconnector.com, or you can catch us in the Fresh Take section at e360tv.com, and you can watch that anywhere. You can download that app on your phone. You can download it on your Roku, your Apple TV, your Amazon Fire Stick, and any Android streaming device. So you can literally catch us anywhere, anytime. You don't have to be right here.
Mm-hmm.
Post
Sister Tracy is asking, having a request. Sister Tracy has a request for you to post your 7 tips on your page.
I most definitely will, because those tips, when I identified those tips, I leaned into them. I still have my days. I'm like, I don't feel like it. Why? World sucks. And then I quickly get over that and realize I'm supposed to have an impact on this world. So I better pull up my big girl panties and get back to regularly programmed schedules.
Right, that part. Shadow God says, yeah, some people fight to protect the pain of their trauma. Excuse me, that's so dangerous. If when does that, if we do, well, I don't understand that part, but they lose the war on love. And that is so true. If they win, if they win their limitations, they will lose the war on love, because love is not something that can ever be limited. So if you find yourself limiting yourself in any aspect of your life, you're definitely still limiting love. What's up, Angelique, the artist?
Yay. But that's it. That's the most interesting thing to me, because there are days that I get like this close to just hating everybody and everything. But that don't last long in me, because at the end of the day, that doesn't serve a purpose. Even as mad as some people can make me, and I've been very angry some days these past few weeks, and it typically has to do with the fact that, like, there are so many youngsters coming up around here. I don't know about other areas of the country that are working these jobs. They at places like Chipotle and McDonald's and Wendy's and whatever you want to call it.
Oh God, we slipping into the food.
It always has to do with food. I don't know what it is. But anyways, it's like, you want to be angry at them, but you can't. You cannot be mad at these young folks, because nobody raised them. How are they supposed to know, okay, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, how are you today? Hey, I'll be right with you. They don't know the
Right.
simple things. Just basic etiquette for customer service is like baffling to these kids. And then right now,
I'm gonna have to play devil's advocate on that, because there was you were talking about constructive critical thinking earlier too, that it wasn't taught. I beg to differ. I don't think the issue is it not being taught. I think the issue is it not being taught in a way that they can comprehend, because we want to teach it in the scientific method, or we want to teach SMART goals, and it's always attached to something that they're not interested in, but we never give them the practical way to use that for anything. Which is why, I mean, hate to toot my own horn again, but which is why I love the DIE program. I don't keep the DIE program for myself for each individual client. The reason the DIE program works is because you can apply to everything, and I want people to make sure they know that. With the scientific method, we attach it to long, drawn out research and questions, and you got to hit the hypothesis, then you got to get the data. The kids would be like, I'm just trying to pass this class. Somebody please just give me a seat so I can move on with my life.
It's not even bad though. It's like,
but they don't comprehend what it really means. We don't tell them this is a way to figure out the answers to problems that may be controversial. And if you can use those things in different areas, then
it's so apathetic though, sis.
Huh?
They're so apathetic. It's like they don't connect with people on the human level, because they're so distracted by these things. This is the first generation that has literally been completely raised by technology, and it shows.
Yeah,
that's why they're eventually going to be replaced by technology.
Yeah, but I mean, think about it. What is it? Money's being paid by technology.
Right.
Medical things, devices are being replaced by technology. Like pretty soon, let's be real. Like it's gonna be who can control technology the most, because it's still gonna take the human application. But it's really gonna come down to who.
But that's where those critical thinkers are going to come into play. So I'm telling you right now, if you're in service industry of any sort, it could be food, it could be automotive, because car salesmen are getting replaced. There is a freaking car vending machine down the street from where my husband works. The Carvana vending machine is right down the street.
I went through a drive-through, and the drive-through took my order without the person. It's automated. It's literally a computer talking to me. It's not even a person. The computer took my whole order. And all they did was take my card.
You can literally walk in McDonald's right now, and there'll be 4 or 5 of them working behind the counter. Nobody's working the register. They'll tell you, go to the kiosk and place your order. But like, you literally telling people, go mess with the machine. It's gonna take my job one day.
Don't talk to me. My job is to hand you your food, not to take your order.
But you take that piece out of it, right? You take that piece out of it, which means there's a certain level of thinking that you don't have to do now, right? Which means you have more brain power available to, prepare people's food and stuff, right?
Yep.
Nope, services got worse. But, and Angelique made a very good point. Also, if people are cussing and being sarcastic with the kids, they will also cuss and be sarcastic. That's the thing, because some of these kids don't know when to turn that off and on. In fact, they don't know that there is an off-on switch.
Right. I
And that's
think
the part
we
that we need
all
to be. That's the part that I need to constantly remind myself to remember, because I be ready to jump over a counter at some of these little smart Alex these days. But I'm like, that would not serve a purpose. I'm not. I'm saving the bail money for other people. It's just food. It's just food, but it's not even food. It's the principle of the matter with me. But again, you gotta let certain things go in order to lean into the things you meant to do. So careful not to generalize. It's never all, always,
food now.
etc. I feel like I've seen more and more folks not caring as the old values are not the same as they have now. True,
Well,
very true. But some of
this
the
is the
old
thing
values
though.
should have carried over, but they didn't.
But
Hence,
this is the
we
thing.
have
I'm
so
gonna
much
tell you what,
pandemonium.
in my opinion, carries over every single generation. What carries over is the child's perception of the way they were raised and the fact that they don't want to raise their kids like their parents did. And if you look back
Ooh,
as far as you can remember, every generation is like, I ain't raising my kid like that. I ain't raising my kid like that. And we're getting further and further away from some core things
right.
that
And I
we
actually
don't
talked
want to
about
whoop them
that.
because my mom used to beat me, so I'm not whooping my kids. That's fine. What is your best replacement?
And that's the
You
crazy
know?
thing. I'm still working on things, but there is a chapter in my book called When I Grow Up. So we went from when I grow up and get married and have kids to when I grow up and have kids to now kids are having kids.
When I had kids, skip the grow
There
up.
ain't no growing up part. There is no
Right.
growing up now. Well, in some cases, it's not a generalization, as Michelle said. And Trinace makes an excellent point here. When I can avoid it, I don't do self service at a store either,
I
because
do.
eventually, one, I don't get paid to check myself out. Dang it.
I love self checkout. Like I love it. I'll have a whole cart. I'm talking produce and everything. And I'm going to do the self checkout. Because I
Well,
like
there
to
is
take
one
my
form.
time. I have my headphones on when
There
I
is
shop.
one form of self checkout that I love. Okay, if y'all are Sam's Club members and you have not tried this yet, it's called Scan and Go. Okay, when you get to the store, cut on your location. Like me, I don't keep my location on all the time, but when I'm there, I'll cut on my location. It'll be like, "Hey, you're at Sam's Club." I'm like, "I know," but anyways, so I actually scan all myself, pay for it on my phone, and then when I go to the door to leave, they scan the code, they boop boop boop, make sure everything in the cart looks right, and I'm on my way. I don't gotta take everything out the cart and scan it and put it in the basket. Scan it, put it in the basket. That is a waste of my life, man. Sam Club is already a pain in the ass to get in and out of. So whoever created this app, this part of the app, thank you. I appreciate it.
Put Shadow God's comment on there.
Me, I
I
need bail
need
money.
that money. Who need it? Who needs some?
I'm constantly saying language with my kids. Girl, man, I be
Yeah.
wondering, like, at what, you know, when you grow up
Brandon
with
like
certain
she had it.
values and ethics, and you know me, I cuss like a sailor, but when children are present, I do not cuss. You won't even hear me say damn or hell around most children, okay? And then you got people that cuss at their kids and then dare them to cuss too.
They think it's funny.
You
They think
just
it's very funny when kids go. And I'm gonna be honest, there ain't too much funnier than when a kid let one go. I mean, like there was this little video that went around about this little girl talking about the monsters in her closet, and she said that if that monster come out of her closet, out that closet, she gonna kick his ass. And that's a cute thing because we know she's saying ass, but she says ass.
right.
And
But
it's
it's
so
the funny
funny,
thing
but
too.
there's a fine line between them mimicking something and being taught something. There's a
That part.
huge difference.
That part. She said I had a 40-ish-year-old lady take my order and didn't address when I spoke a correction to her. That's the craziest thing to me. Like, no, what's going on with these places that you're not teaching customer service. Like y'all just hard pressed just to get warm bodies in there at this point.
Yeah.
But it's because all the people that had good sense, that had good customer service, the people that didn't ran their asses off, and now that's who you left with. And now you got these crazy ass customers that are willing to match your energy.
Right.
Those are the kind of customers you're gonna be stuck with permanently, because those of us that got good sense, like, you know what? I'm tired of feeling like this every time I try and go get a sandwich. I'm gonna make my own damn sandwich and be happy then.
Right. Right.
Speaking of sandwiches, I literally got a bunch of hoagie rolls. I've been making my own sandwiches, y'all. I've been a good child this week. Amada Lorenzo says the food family traditions fade over time in terms of survival for future generations. Yeah. We see this in ancient texts and spiritual books.
Yeah, and that's the one I want to touch on, because I am a firm believer in change. I mean, change is the only constant. Things are going to change, and things should change in some ways. But I think the thing that is missing is, like you were saying, the respect factor. It's the acknowledging of all of humankind, human races. I was having a conversation, and I really don't think she'd mind me saying so, just because it was a public conversation. But just for the sake of protecting her identity, I had a long conversation with a friend yesterday about one of the bills that were about to be passed that did not go through in the school systems to teach young kids. I think it was 8 to 10-year-olds about the different labels of LGBT plus and all the letters that come after that. And she was concerned because someone had approached her about the fact that they thought it should be taught, and it was a member of the LGBT community. So she called me because I'm also a member of that community, and wanting to know what my opinion was, because they were saying that now the bill has been nicknamed as "Don't Say Gay." So
that's in Florida,
right? So some people are outraged because they can't teach the curriculum. Some people are outraged because they tried to teach the curriculum, and some people are utterly confused because they don't even understand the curriculum. And my thing is,
go ahead. Oh, it's the same thing with the critical race theory.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is we're teaching. I understand the education behind it. I understand that you want people to know why the other people come to the conclusion that they want to be called certain things, but it's not for us to call them that. Right. It is their responsibility. Like, for instance, if I like Amanda said, my triggers are my responsibility. So if I want to be called something in a certain way, I need to let people know, because there could be two people come from the same home, have the same sexual orientation, and still be want to call different pronouns. So if we are teaching people to label people, we are teaching them to label people. Why are we teaching anyone to label anyone? That's never going to help anything. So that's my opinion. So it is the respect part that we need to be teaching. We need to take out the label making, no label makers, and teach people to honor everybody regardless of what they want to be called. That's what needs to be taught.
Right.
It's not that these kids respect others. They just not held accountable when they do hand out disrespect. So who's really responsible?
And that's an excellent question right there in itself. But what I want to say about the subject matter is this. I believe children should be taught about the LGBTQ community, but I also believe they should be more mature than 9-10 years old.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you think about it. When you were 9-10 years old, you didn't like little boys. I didn't like little boys. Little boys didn't like little girls, and so on and so forth. So if you teach them this, some of them without the right foundation are going to automatically assume, hey, I don't like little girls. That must mean I'm gay. Or I feel like wearing pink today. That must mean I want to be a girl now. No, you need to make sure that the mature foundation has been laid before you present this to kids. Because kids, they take you for exactly what's coming out of your mouth. They don't have they don't teach them okay, this applies if this and this and this happens first. They don't know how to think like that. They're not taught how to think like that in most cases. So you're just
They're
going to
not
confuse the
deductive.
hell out of them. And they're going to be worried about sexuality when they need to be worried about the Pythagorean theorem.
Not even. They need to worry about triangles.
That's part of the Pythagorean theorem.
Squares.
A
Not
squared
even
plus
the
B squared
Pythagorean
equals C
theorem. They
squared.
don't know what that is yet.
Right.
You haven't done that in middle school, like late middle school.
And that part, I think it's more important to teach children to respect each other as fellow human beings above all other things. If your fellow human chooses to wear a dress one day, cool, whatever. As long as they're not saying, you need to be happy I'm wearing a dress. That's when there's a line that should be drawn.
Right.
I respect your choice to wear that dress. But I'm not going to be like, yeah, he's in a dress. No.
Right, exactly. Because there's just too many variations. There's too many spectrums in the rainbow for us to say red is red. Let somebody bring you two kind of reds and try to put them together. And you tell me red is red. There's red, there's yellow red, there's orange red, there's blue red, there's burgundy red. There's so many. Right. Red is not red. So how the hell can people just be people? How can just a lesbian be a lesbian? No, it's just not the way it works. That's like me saying all women like the same kind of men. If you're a black woman, you like a black man. Or if you're 5'8", you get a man that's 5'8". Or if you know, there's some people that like skinny,
be boring as shit.
Right. It's like it's nonsense.
Well, Angelique says it's more important to teach children to be open to others and confident about expressing their own identity. That part. Indeed. And they need to be teaching cursive writing. Thank you. How you gonna read the freaking?
Okay. Listen, y'all can let that go because that ain't coming back. Unless you want into calligraphy, cursive writing ain't coming
all in cursive.
That's not coming back unless you are really in calligraphy. You can cancel cursive writing.
Well, I'll be teaching my children cursive myself because I feel like that's an important. Unless they're going to redo the entire Constitution of this United States of America, not likely.
I'm just saying, what are they gonna do with it? Because ain't nobody gonna be able to read it. Not only are they not writing cursive, but they can't read it.
The last ones that can read that joint. So when it becomes yo, I want predictions in the comments right now. What year will America have its first robot president?
2035. It'll be named President Simon. Simon said.
Oh man, he said can't even sign their name. That's the stone cold truth of it. I have to tell people print and sign all day. I wrote a lyric about that. Yeah. Drop the song in the comments, Brother King.
Yeah.
Definitely got to disguise it as calligraphy.
Right.
What if you actually sign your name in cursive and it sets off some kind of alarm like, oh, this one's a thinker, take her away.
Right. It's a fraud. It's a spy.
Oh, Lord. Write a rhyme in cursive and let me see you spit the shit. Sooner or later, they'll all know who the prophet is. Oh, dang. That's cold.
I love it. I love lyrics. I love his lyrics in particular as well. So.
Yeah, Shadow God's lyrics make y'all think. If you don't like to think, don't listen to Shadow God's music because I learn something new every time, every song, every album he dropped, man. Whether it's instrumental, lyric and choice, it doesn't matter. Like I learn something new every time he drops something. It's amazing. I love it.
Good stuff. I love it.
Most definitely. Here we are. Of course, took an unexpected turn, but I love the unexpected. In fact, we both do. That's why we do what we do, man.
And we good at it too.
Most definitely. So, y'all, I know we said we were going to drop some links in the comment. I'm also going to drop those 7 keys as well in the comments. So let me write that down because short-term memory. I did a couple double front flips to my head when I was a gymnast, y'all. I may or may not be kidding, Mom. Actually,
damage. I just wanted to
I'm
hear
not damaged. I just think differently now. Well, actually, I've had a couple of head injuries. Double front flip to my head in gymnastics, but I was like 3, 4 years old. We were riding down this big ass hill, Arkansas, Little Rock, Arkansas, and I didn't apparently know how to brake correctly, so I went head first into a curb. Yeah, that was the first head injury.
That was the first one.
That was the first one that I remember.
Number one.
That very same year, I decided I didn't like dolls. So my mother had bought me a Cabbage Patch doll, and I, my little 3, 4-year-old self, walked to a random garage sale and dropped that doll off and walked my little happy ass home. My
You know
mom
what I
was
used to do to my dogs? I take them outside and I put the magnifying glass in the sun, the beam right on their nose until their nose just sunk all the way in.
Now that y'all know how we feel about dolls.
Oh, no.
Most definitely, Brother King. We appreciate everyone's presence this evening. Trinace, Amadis, Angelique, Antoinette Marie Williams, Tracy. Oh my gosh, y'all are so freaking awesome, and we love y'all. Be sure to share what we be up to, man, because we are trying. I'm not even gonna say trying. We are growing this audience, and we are taking it in a direction that is most unexpected, but will be absolutely fantastic. If you like Carrie more than you like me, which is perfectly okay, follow her at ATBA_impact on Instagram. If you like me more than you like her, follow me at Brandy the Disconnector on
You a
Instagram.
mess.
And if you love both of us equally, follow us at the Coach and the Disconnector right here on Facebook. We also stream to the YouTube channels. And as those get, more built up with our here videos, we'll definitely share that information with y'all too. If you want to grab or check in or connect with Carrie on YouTube, it's the chatter. Is it the chatter or it's Carrie Irene?
Carrie Irene, yes.
All
Okay,
right.
Chatter God, I promise. I'll drop the ball.
New episode of the Chatter coming next week, y'all. And
Yes.
next week we will be joined by the one and only Jennifer Vega. She is a chef. She is an author. She is a business owner, and she's just simply amazing, y'all. Y'all are going. If you think you laugh when the two of us are on the screen, just wait till Jenny joins us. Y'all ain't ready.
Jenny from the block.
It's more of a heavy topic next week. We're talking about domestic violence, but we always talk about the ways to get through domestic violence if you're currently experiencing it, how to get past the trauma of domestic violence if it's still holding on to you real tough. We're going to talk about all those things next week. So, y'all, tune in and lock in with us next week. We will be back front and center, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And with that, we love y'all. Good night.
Bye, y'all.